Imagine you are sitting in the exam hall. The clock is ticking down, the tension is high, and you flip over your paper to see a massive 8-mark question from a Cambridge computer science past paper. Let's say it's code 0417, or maybe you're sitting for 0478, 2210, 9618, or 9626. The topic? Proprietary versus open source software. Now, I want to introduce you to two very typical students taking this exact exam. We've got Alex, who absolutely overloads their answer with raw computer science facts, but includes zero actual analysis. And then we have Sam. Sam rushes. Sam completely misses the command word requirements and just writes whatever comes to mind first. When the results come back, their answers are covered in red pen marks. Today, we are going to fix that. We are unlocking the secrets of Module 2.4, and our core concept for this masterclass is simple. We are going to transform your basic knowledge into gold standard evaluation. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this, because straight from the senior examiners themselves, this specific module is consistently cited as one of the most misunderstood areas across the entire Cambridge syllabus. Year after year, students walk into this exam and literally leave easy marks sitting right there on the table. It's incredibly frustrating to watch, especially when you know the content. If we look at Alex and Sam's flawed answers side by side, it's obvious what's happening. Alex wrote a novel, just dumping every fact about software licenses, but didn't answer the actual prompt. Sam wrote 2 sentences and completely ignored the context. This is exactly what the examiners are warning us about. But don't worry, this is entirely fixable once you understand the playbook.
So that brings us to the big central question. Why do students find interpreting complex text and data related to this topic so difficult? Honestly, it usually isn't because they don't know the basic facts. You probably already know what open source means. It's because the exam questions demand a much higher level of cognitive processing. They aren't just testing your memory. They want you to extract data from a specific scenario, evaluate the alternatives, and draw justified conclusions from completely unfamiliar contexts. Today, I promise to give you a structured, step-by-step blueprint to navigate this exact challenge and secure those top marks.
Here is our blueprint for today's session. First, we'll cover the core principles, where we lay the foundation. Second, we'll introduce the procedural framework, which is your step-by-step method. Third, we're going deep into critical analysis, which is where you get the highest marks. And fourth, we'll wrap up with the top examiner warnings so you know exactly what traps to avoid. We are going to systematically unpack the theory, the practical steps, and the absolute best examiner secrets.
Section 1. Core Principles and Theoretical Foundations. Now, any strong architectural framework requires a rock-solid foundation, and your exam answers are no different.
And here is a massive examiner alert right out of the gate. According to the principal examiner reports, candidates consistently confuse key terminology in this section. The absolute golden rule here is that you must explicitly define proprietary software and open source software before you start applying them in your extended responses. Do not assume the examiner knows that you know what these terms mean. Model the correct behavior. State your precise definitions first. Establish that baseline. Proprietary software is closed source, legally protected, and usually paid for. Open source software provides access to the source code, allowing modification and redistribution. Define it and then build your argument from there. Before we continue, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCS to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon right now.
So the crucial point here is that the foundations of Module 2.4 rest on 3 pillars: precise definitions, causal relationships, and cross-topic connections. To really nail this, I want to introduce you to the PEAL framework. That stands for Point, Evidence, Explanation, and Link. Top-performing students use PEAL to structure their computer science answers. You make a point about proprietary software, you provide evidence from the given case study, you explain the causal relationship, like how paying for a license ensures dedicated tech support, and then you link it back to the specific needs of the business in the prompt. When you connect conceptual understanding to unfamiliar contexts using the PEAL framework, the examiners will significantly boost your marks. It is a total game changer.
Let's shift our focus to Section 2, the procedural framework. This is what I like to call the method mark strategy, where marks are awarded for your logical process just as much as your final answer. Here is the standardized 5-step sequence you need to burn into your memory for tackling any complex data, tables, or text in the exam. Step 1. Deconstruct the command word. Does it say state, describe, or evaluate? Those mean wildly different things. Step 2. Extract the relevant data from the texts or tables provided.
Step 3. Select the correct analytical framework, like Peel, to apply. Step 4. Execute your analysis with clear, logical working. And Step 5. Present your findings clearly. If you follow this 5-step sequence, you are actively interpreting relationships exactly the way the mark scheme demands. This is the exact blueprint that turns Alex's fact dumping into a highly targeted, mark-winning response.
And this brilliantly illustrates how systematic processing develops professional skills and secures those method marks. Presentation of information in Module 2.4 follows very strict conventions. It's not just about getting to the end, it's about applying the correct formats, using the appropriate Cambridge terminology, putting in clear annotations, and always verifying your results. Let's look at our student Sam again. Sam rushes and uses words like app or program instead of proprietary software suite. Sam loses marks. But when we guide Sam to rewrite that answer, replacing casual words with correct terminology, we literally see those red pen marks transforming into green check marks. It's all about precision.
Moving right along into Section 3, Critical Analysis. This is where we tackle those higher-order assessment objectives that demand you evaluate alternatives and make justified recommendations. Stop scrolling. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Ace the Exams, at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. We've helped thousands of students improve by 2 to 3 grade boundaries. Join them right now by subscribing to @acetheexams_IGCSE and turn on all notifications so you never miss our weekly exam strategy sessions.
All right, let's jump into an interactive workshop right now. Challenge 1, the data scan. We are putting 60 seconds on the clock. When the exam asks you to compare proprietary and open source approaches, what are they actually looking for? Comparative analysis requires identifying both similarities and differences. You cannot just list a bunch of facts about proprietary software and then list separate facts about open source software. The examiners hate that. You have to use strong comparative connectives, words like whereas, conversely, or similarly. You link them, you support each comparison with direct evidence from the data source provided, and you extract the core trend.
Now for Challenge 2, find the flaw. Evaluating evidence quality is absolutely crucial. When you're looking at a flawed sample paragraph, you have to ask yourself, where did the student lose the mark? Usually, it's because they didn't acknowledge the limitations of the data, the assumptions made, or alternative interpretations. Here is the connective logic you need to master. Because X is an assumption made by a company, Y is the limitation on the conclusion you can actually draw. If you can articulate that in your answer, you are demonstrating top-tier, gold-standard critical thinking. Let's move to Challenge 3, Speed Writing. We're going to use a 30-second timer to mentally write one perfect Peel paragraph. For pure problem solving within this 2.4 framework, rely on the deconstruct, solve, evaluate loop. First, identify the given information from the prompt. Second, break the problem down into logical steps. Third, solve it systematically, showing your work and applying your point, evidence, explanation, and link. And fourth, step back and check for reasonableness. Does your justified recommendation actually make sense for a real-world business? If you recommend a complex open-source Linux build for a tiny bakery with 0 IT staff, that is not reasonable. Always check the real-world logic. Now we arrive at Section 4, Top Examiner Warnings. Now, what's really interesting about these points is that they come directly from the principal examiner reports. This is the ultimate insider knowledge. Let's rapid-fire this perfect mental cheat sheet so you avoid losing easy points. Mistake number 1. Confusing cause and effect when analyzing proprietary versus open source models. Just because a software is open source doesn't automatically cause it to be more secure. You have to explain the mechanism, like a global community reviewing the code. Mistake number 2, forgetting format checks. Remember those strict conventions we talked about? Ignoring them costs points. And mistake number 3, ignoring context. This is Sam's biggest flaw. If Cambridge gives you a case study about a busy hospital network, your answer must be specifically tailored to the life or death stakes of a hospital, not just a generic textbook definition of software. To make sure you don't fall into these traps in the heat of the exam, I am challenging you to actively create a memory hack right now. Create a mnemonic using the first letters of these key terms: cause, format, context, CFC. Check for contact or computers format code, whatever works best for your brain. Locking these principles and examiner warnings into your memory right now will ensure they instantly flash in your mind the second you turn over that exam paper.
Let's efficiently summarize this entire playbook. We have built a complete computer science answering system based on 3 major rules that guarantee top marks. Rule 1, command word decoding. Always know exactly what the question is asking. Rule 2, the Peel framework application. Structure your paragraphs with point, evidence, explanation, and link.
And Rule 3, the time management matrix. Don't rush like Sam, and don't write a novel of useless facts like Alex. Define your terms, apply the 5-step framework, master critical analysis, and avoid those top 3 context mistakes. Students who implement these computer science strategies see an average improvement of 2 grade boundaries, but only if they practice consistently with our weekly videos.
So, I want to end with this provocative question. Which step of the procedural framework will you apply to your very next past paper? Because the only way to transform basic knowledge into gold standard evaluation is to get your hands dirty. Here's your final reminder. Subscribe to our YouTube channel Ace the Exams at acetheexams_IGCSE to excel in your Cambridge examinations. Subscribe right now to acetheexams_IGCSE and click that bell. Don't let another exam pass you by. Drop a comment below with your target grade for computer science and the biggest challenge you're facing. Our team responds to every comment. Like and share this video with a study partner. Ace the Exams. Your Cambridge success starts here.